You're listening to the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast, episode 14.
Want to work less and sell more? Welcome to the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast, the podcast to help you scale up and take your business to the next level with webinars that sell for you. Each episode focuses on the money mindset, online marketing, and sales strategies to get you more leads and convert leads to sales, all with webinars. And now your host, business and webinar strategist, April Reed.
Hey, welcome to another show. I want to take a second just to say I appreciate each and every one of you coming here week after week and spending this 20, 30 minutes with me, listening, learning, growing your business, being successful. And I just appreciate all the love that I have been receiving because of the show. And I'm glad that it's making such an impact on your lives and your business. Today, I want to get into 6 tips or strategies for a successful webinar. As you may have heard, webinars are the best way to build your business the fastest. Well, I'm sure there's other ways, but I'm biased. I love webinars, so I'm going to say it's the best. And if you're looking to add something new to your marketing strategies, including webinars can give you some amazing results. I love the way that webinars have helped me leverage my business and make the scaling of my business like on steroids, literally. And because I want the same for you, I want to share some insightful tips on how to make your webinar more successful. These are tips that I have learned myself or through my interviews, have learned from other people, implemented, and they work. Okay, so the first tip is do a webinar. Okay, so you're like, well, duh. So your tip on having a successful webinar is doing a webinar? Yes, you'll be surprised how many people are actually sitting on their content, their webinar right now. And I was one of them. I had my own mindset issues. I had my webinar presentation created, but I just couldn't start. Just fear of failure, fear of success, fear of who would actually show up? Would anybody actually buy? Is it even worth spending this hour to do this? Just getting in my own way. And if I had not just told myself, okay, just shut up and do it, because your thinking is not going to work is reality if you don't even try. Why not try and then prove whether or not it works or not? So this may seem obvious, but if you want to have a successful webinar, the first thing you got to do is just have the webinar. Just start it. Use your topic. Okay, maybe you're not sure if it's the best topic in the world, but try it out. Do a Facebook Live and see how much engagement you get with that topic. And if you do get a considerable amount of comments and people showing up for your live, depending on when you do your live, then you probably have a pretty good topic. And just go out there and test it out. That's the best way to know if you have an awesome topic, is just test it out. And then that way you can do a few tweaks here and a few tweaks there, or can the whole topic all together and choose another topic. So that's tip number 1. Just do the darn webinar. Okay. Tip number 2. Now, sometimes a person will do a webinar one time, they didn't get the results that they were looking for, and then they get discouraged and they just don't do it again. Webinars are never a one and done. And I'm talking about a live webinar here. You want to do live webinars so that you can get instant feedback and know what's working and what's not working. Yes, you could record a webinar and set it up on automatic and make it on demand so it's running for you. But if it's not converting, it's a lot harder to understand what needs to be changed. You need that live effect so you can engage with your audience and get that instant feedback and then survey them later. Okay, so again, webinars are never one and done. That's tip number 2. And you want to test things out and get feedback so you could do a lot better. And also go back and watch your webinar. See what you've done. I know when I did this, I realized that I like to say like and and probably a ton of ums. And it was just cringing to listen to. It was like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for the people on the other end of this webinar presentation that have to hear my ums, and likes. So it made me very mindful of the way that I speak so that I can come out there and do a better presentation. Now, I still say when I do my Facebook Lives. I still say ums and probably, and likes, but I'm more mindful of it. So webinars, again, are never one and done. You have to keep working at it. You have to get better at it. It's like riding a bike or trying something new. You were never good at it the first time. Or even if you were, doing it the second, third, fourth, fifth time just made you even better. Tip number 3 is making sure that you have your flow right. The flow of information that you present in your webinar is very, very important. You want to make sure that your sound, the way you're talking, doesn't sound very robotic or choppy or clunky in your delivery when you record your webinars or when you're on your webinar. Since I love talking about doing the live webinars. So even though your slides are beautiful, you want to make sure that you're giving energy, like you actually want to be there. OMG, presentation is everything. Okay, this is a side note. I'm going to digress just a little bit, but it proves my point that I went to Comcast. I can't remember why I went to Comcast for. Oh, I wanted to switch to packages or anything. And the person who was waiting on me, you could just tell she did not want to be there today. I mean, no smile, slunched over. It was kind of like putting me all down. She was nice, but I just kind of wanted to get away from her because it was like, okay, you're like super killing my buzz here. You're killing the mood. So you want to be excited. You want to be there. Yes, you're giving valuable content, but be excited about the content. If you're not excited about it, how is your audience going to be excited about it? Okay, so make sure the flow is grooving and is moving and you're excited and people will actually want to be there and listen to your sunshine personality and whatnot. Okay, tip number 4. I want you to use the beginning slide to prep your audience for your pitch that you're going to give at the end. Okay, so, just to make sure I'm not making an assumption, when you do your webinar, you're usually going to pitch something, whether it's a discovery call, your group coaching program, your signature coaching program, or some type of ebook or product or whatever. You're going to pitch them at the end. And a lot of people have problems flowing into that pitch. And one of the ways I find that makes this transition a lot easier is just being transparent and upfront. Like, hey, you're not going to say it like slide number 1, but in the beginning, before you actually dive into your content, you're just going to be transparent and say, hey, I know a lot of people struggle with X, Y, and Z. And so after this webinar, after I teach this content, some of you are going to want to work with me further or understand how to work further and get more support. So I am going to introduce my new program. So you're just being upfront. And you know what? The thing I love about this transparent approach is that when you get to the end of your webinar and you get into the sale of your program or asking for discovery calls or whatever, whoever is still on that webinar wants to see what you have to offer. I mean, you just told them 45 minutes ago, hey, after this content, I'm going to pitch something to you. I want you to buy something. If they're still on there, they basically just said, okay, what are you trying to sell me? I want to hear it. So you're not tricking them. It's not like, whoa, how did I get here? I was listening to some really great content and now you're trying to sell me something. They already know. So even that is a confident booster in yourself that, hey, wow, people are still on this call, this webinar presentation. They want to know what I have to offer. And those who aren't have dropped off. So, hey, great. Okay. Tip number 5 is audience engagement is important. I kind of talked about this earlier, but yes, audience engagement is extremely important. We don't want to lecture. I mean, yes, we want to learn, but it could be pretty boring just sitting there and looking at a slide presentation. We want it to be very engaging. Ask questions. And if they didn't stay until the end of your presentation, then they got very bored. And if they don't stay to the end of your presentation, guess what? They're not going to hear your offer. And you want them to stay till the end so they can hear your amazing offer. Obviously, they're on this webinar because they are struggling with something that you solve. And if they're too bored or get distracted because you're not engaging them, they're going to miss out on a great opportunity to get their solution solved. So you want to make sure you keep the audience engaged with questions, and not long-ended, open-ended questions, but simple questions that helps them self-identify that, again, they are in the right place and you are the person that can help them. Okay. Lastly, tip number 6 is start simple. This kind of goes with just getting started. It doesn't have to be all complicated. We don't have to run out, oh, I got to get GoToWebinar, and I got to get Camtasia, and I have to research Steph Webinar. No, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to run out, go to Amazon and get some Blue Yeti microphone. Okay, I highly suggest that you get a microphone, but what I'm really trying to drill in the point is that don't let anything stand in your way. Don't let anything stand in your way of taking action and getting your webinar out there. Because if your webinar is not going to convert on the first try, if there's plenty of successful people out there that have made a sale on their very first webinar. So if your webinar is one of those that does not, wouldn't you rather know that now than having a unsuccessful webinar a month or 2 or 6 months from now so that you can start tweaking it right now? Yeah, but just start simple. You don't have to make this huge commitment and set up this monthly plan and whatever webinar equipment or software you think you have to have. Your slides don't have to be that fancy. Yes, slide presentations and design is great, but if you did a really good job on understanding exactly what your clients need, the pain that they're going through right now, and how you can help them, they're going to listen. They're going to be on your webinar thinking, this is some awesome content. So you don't have to be that fancy just to get started. You don't have to use the most expensive software to have a fantastic, awesome webinar. And again, going back to 5, that's another way to keep your audience engaged by really talking about something that they really, really want to learn. Yes, definitely, definitely. So let me tell you another story about another business I had that I started, I believe in 2014, or maybe I reintroduced it in 2014 because actually I had this business in 2010. But when I restarted the business, it was a slideshow business where I put photos on DVDs, and I hadn't started this business yet. I had just ordered whatever I needed, the equipment and software from Amazon. So just waiting for the shipment to come through and be delivered to my home. And I was starting to work on my website. a little bit each day. I was using WordPress. And if you use WordPress, you know that there's a way to go in there and you click a box or something, this checkbox that says, don't let Google use your website in the search index or something like that. I don't know. I should have looked it up before I said this because I don't know what it actually says, but it's just a way that you're telling Google when people are searching for your product or service, you don't want Google to bring up your website just yet. It goes on to say that it's up to the search engine to respect your request or whatnot. So anyway, I had checked that box because I was just creating my website. I spent a little time on day 1, a little time on day 2, and day 3, I didn't do anything with it. I believe all I had finished was a few words on the homepage and my contact information and maybe one service on the service page. So probably 15% done with content. And day 3, I actually got a call from somebody who wanted to hire me for my services. And he did end up hiring me. And when I asked, how did you find me? Because I'm thinking, okay, I haven't advertised on Google local places yet. I'm not in the phone book yet. The only thing that I remotely have out there is my website that's like 10, 15% with anything on it. And yes, that's where he found me. He found my website, saw my contact information, and called me up. Now, at first I was a little embarrassed, like, oh my gosh, you saw my website. It's not even done. Oh my gosh, I got to take it down. But then it was like, wow, fantastic. I actually got a sell from a website that's not even complete. That's like 85% incomplete. And that's just a point of just getting started. When I did my first webinar, the entire funnel was not complete. You got to do the emails to get people to show up live. You got to do the emails after they attend the webinar to show up. And you got to have the opt-in and, doing the whole fill-up formula with the blog posts and everything and whatnot. And I did not have everything set in place. And my first webinar, I grossed, wait for it, nothing, $0. Okay, but I did it again. And on my second webinar, I actually made a sale. I sold my $10,000 premium coaching package program. And I didn't have the dang funnel all completely set up and everything. Now, yes, because it wasn't completely set up, it required me to be more hands-on. I do love the system of everything. So I do teach the system, but when I was just starting out, I didn't have my system all structured and lined out, but I was still able to get a pretty high ticket price item sold. And I'm helping that client get really awesome transformation because of it, because I didn't get all tripped out in my ego and was like, oh, I can't do this because I have to add 3 more emails because that's what they told me I have to do. I just went out there and did it. So I hope you enjoyed these 6 tips. And if you're sitting on your webinar, then just go out there and do it so you can get the feedback. Okay? All right. So hopefully this has been awesome for you. It's been awesome for me. If you're in need of support in getting your webinar out there to the world, I want to invite you to a free session, my 5-figure webinar breakthrough session. And in this session, we're going to get real clear on your webinar goals, because I find that once you know what you want to sell on your webinar, we can work backwards to figuring out exactly what you need to do to make that goal a reality. And then we're going to identify key strategic milestone steps so that you can achieve your webinar income goal. We'll also uncover any hidden challenges or obstacles that could be sabotaging your success. Because I find that with all of us, really, when you think about it, it doesn't matter how much strategy and planning that we have. There always seems to be something internally that's keeping us stuck and from taking the real actions that we need to do to achieve our goal. So we're going to uncover all those hidden challenges, whether they be internally or if there's something actually going on environmentally that is keeping you stuck. We're going to also figure out how to position your business to make money. And then trust me, you're going to leave this session feeling inspired and empowered and awakened to all the possibilities of your marketing that you never really saw before. And you're really going to want to take action. So I invite you to this call because if you really want to go out there and scale your business and start selling premium packages and getting more clients online with the use of webinars, then this strategy session is for you. It's the 5-figure webinar breakthrough session, and you can apply at www.aprilreed.com/apply. Okay, so you might be thinking, if this is a free session, then why do I have to apply for it? The reason you have to apply for it is because you're talking to me. And we're going to dive deep into what it is that you really need. And because my time is very limited, I want to make sure that I am talking to people that are really serious about making a change in their business. Because I cannot help everyone. I just simply can't. So I want to spend my time on those who are ready to take action and ready to take what I share with them and put it into work. Okay, so again, it's the 5-figure webinar breakthrough session, and you can apply at www.aprilreed.com/apply. And also be sure to double back to my show notes at www.aprilreed.com/14 to see this link and click on it so you can apply for your session and also see all the extra goodies that come with viewing the show notes. All right, this has been fantastic. And I will talk to you next week. Oh my gosh. Okay, next week, when I talk to you, it will be after Christmas. So Merry Christmas! And if you don't celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you anyway. Happy holidays. Okay, bye.
Well, that's another show in the bag. Hey guys, don't forget to leave a rating on iTunes. And if you know another mompreneur or entrepreneur that can benefit from the teachings and the lessons on this show, then please share.
Thanks for listening to the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast at www.aprilreed.com.